I am Magnus Karlsson, a highly qualified man, an educated man in Sweden. I am a Master of Science and I have been tortured by Sweden all my life. I turn to you once again, Mr. Superior Commander of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg. You are aware, of course, that you are responsible for more than 70 of your own Nazi people back in Utøya. What did you promise Mr. Anders Behring Breivik? I guess you had a career in the future for him. I guess that it was not enough with the reputation. He was allowed to make his Nazi Bible, a future version of Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf. You would know about that as the Nazist you are, Mr. Jens Stoltenberg. Do you have other career possibilities for Mr. Breivik? He is the worst terrorist since Bin Laden, I would say. The next in rank. Would he be a possible terrorist leader or maybe a general for the army, the Nazi NATO army? Can you answer me that, Mr. Jens Stoltenberg in NATO? And it's obvious that you, Mr. Stoltenberg, and the American President Joe Biden, with your imperialism, want to destroy both Russia and China. You want to infiltrate them and buy them. Buy their people, their poor people. The CIA boss goes out and wants to create Russian spies for America. Spies of the Russian people for a handful of dollars. It's obvious, you can see the demonstrations in both Russia and China that America is infiltrating Russia and China and Western Europe and NATO too. Joe Biden is an imperialist and he wants to conquer the Arabian countries and the rest of the world before attacking Russia and China. It's not like the ex-president Donald Trump. He wanted to make America great again on an economical basis, not through war that would destroy the world. But you want the doomsday. Do you have a higher command, Mr. Stoltenberg, from the Satanists, the witches, the witchmaster of Norway, Sweden and Netherlands, Mr. Boge perhaps? Can you answer me that? Like the mind reader, predictor and oracle that he is, and the many other witches, telepaths, predictors, mediums, oracles that Sweden has had for centuries, predicting doomsday. And what about Mr. Zelensky, the coward, cracking jokes, making fun, melting in among the people as the role player and actor that he is, not calm, not trustworthy, not serious. He wants to be a sort of an emperor of the world, getting everything that he wants, like a child. Now, for instance, he wants everything that Sweden has. And Sweden, of course, want to give him that. A war in Ukraine is better to finance than a war in Sweden, of course. And what about the Finns? I have told you about the Nordic countries. the Nordic Aryan race superiority of other races. They were so sad and angry about Russia. They were defeated during World War II. The Finns that helped Adolf Hitler against Russia. But he had also his Swedish general to lead the Finnish forces, the man called Mannerheim. And Adolf Hitler, he was very proud to have such an intimate friend and inspiration as Sweden and the Nazi socialist, the social democracy in Sweden, with a land father and their true fatherland. Inspiration by Nietzsche and all the social democracy, of course. And what shall I say more? I could tell you about Mr. Stefan Löfven, the former Prime Minister of Sweden, and now the leader of the European social democracy Nazism. He began his career as a simple welder. Steel he likes. I will have to add that he soon became a mafia boss in the social democracy, and he had and have no education at all. A simple person, an idiot and a murderer. He murdered my mother, Siv Karlsson. He was the most responsible man, a murderer in the state of Sweden, in the name of the Swedish state. And now, after the mafia boss career, he became the Prime Minister of Sweden. And after that, now, he is the boss of the Nazis in the social democracy in Europe. And now Sweden is becoming the head of the European Union too. And you, Mr. Jens Stoltenberg, are running NATO. I understand why Mr. Donald Trump wanted to split NATO. He didn't want to have anything to do with your Nazis in Western Europe and the Nordic countries. I hope that you go to hell, all you Nazis and Satanists. Go to hell in fire. And what about Mr. Witchmaster and Devil and Sweden, Norway and Netherlands, Mr. Boge, the master of science, just as me? He began his career in construction of aeroplanes. But suddenly he burned his wings, so to say, and fell down to earth and began to constructing tunnels down to hell. The predictor, an oracle, and mind reader, of course. With Sweden's help, he got his predictions come through, almost to 100%. So he wants the apocalypse, the doomsday, just as the rest of Sweden. Do you wonder why Sweden always on the 31st of December are playing at the place Skansen in Stockholm the poem New Year's Clock? That the 1,000 years of wars will end every year the same way. And 1,000 years of peace will come. Sweden is a backwards country, and they have had the 1,000-year-old kingdom. It will end in the apocalypse, the war of wars, World War III, doomsday. And Sweden is the world champion in playing doomsday on TV games. That's the truth. I'm an honest person. I never lie. I stand for all my opinions, everything what I say and write. I'm an honest person, and the world would see that. I have been tortured so many years. For generations, if you count in my murdered parents and other people in my bloodline. I am of importance for the world. I hate Nazism and the Satanism. I stand for freedom. I hate slavery, such as it is in Sweden. That's the end.